Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Taskforce Echo, a StarCraft RPG actual play series. And I suddenly realized that I don't have the chat up, so I cannot react to anybody in chat. Anyways, I'm John. I'm the executive producer here at Financial Films, and while I finagle,
Don't worry, I got you.
while I finagle getting my chat up and you guys seeing some of the behind the scenes of this screen as I unfull screen my Roll20 window, I pass it over to William, our GM.
Hello, I am William, and I am acting as your GM and the voice of the Kaprulu sector in this adventure. So, let us begin with introducing our characters, starting with Cody.
Hi, I'm Cody. I play Oswald Ridley, the pilot.
And Jeremy.
Hi, I'm Jeremy. I'm playing Stefan Knezovich, the for the moment captain.
And Jack.
Hey, I'm Jack. I play Koronix, the Nerazim Protoss Dark Templar.
And Aaron, who is not in the Roll20 right now.
Sorry. I am Aaron, and I'm playing. Oh God, I almost said Naomi. I am not playing. I am playing Ava Sweet, the medical officer, who clearly doesn't have her shit together today.
It's okay, nobody does.
And John.
I'm John, and I'm playing Fang, the primal Zerg.
And Sarah.
I'm Sarah, and I'm playing Rachel, the Terran something or other who had a really long day at work.
Can you adjust your camera down a little bit so we get more of you and less of the wall?
But the wall is so beautiful.
Well, we want to see your pretty
Hopefully,
face.
no one heard me turning on the stream.
We did.
There's
The wall
nothing.
is your friend.
Every
The wall is
second.
more attractive than my face, just so we're all clear.
One of us.
Alright, so when last we left our heroes, they had acquired a new target. After interrogating a former ghost that they had captured, and finding information on a location of potentially the Sons of Creation base on Core Hall, known as the Angel's Arms, established that the Angel's Arms does accept any psionics who seek aid and shelter, potentially including Protoss. You're not 100% certain. The group now has to figure out how exactly they're going to attempt to infiltrate the Angel's Arms, because according to the ghost before he was terminated from a remote location, the group learned that the Angel's Arms is also heavily guarded and most of the staff is psionic. So, and that is where we left off. So it's up to you guys to figure out how you are going to find your way into the Angel's Arms.
I have a
say
lot
we
of
take
suggestions,
off,
but no one can
nuke it
understand
from
them.
orbit. It's the only way to be sure. No, I'm kidding.
We have a location, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes,
Um,
we do.
We have a name.
So, can you? Never mind.
You have a question for me, like from a universe perspective?
Yeah. Yes. Like, how much? And I don't know if Ava would know this. Like, general sympathy would Protoss have among a group like that? I know he said there are Protoss there, but
So
especially given the planet.
that depends. Based on your knowledge of the Sons of Creation, based on how they view psionics as the evolution of humanity, depending on how they're spinning it, they might see it any number of ways. It's potential that they might see Protoss as sort of the ultimate superior species that can guide them into the promised land. They might see them as a species that doesn't know the hardship of evolving into psionics because they were already born with it. They might be seen as a potential threat if they attempt to use psionics to overpower the Terran psionics. It depends on how they're trying to spin their perspective.
So
They were born with it. They didn't have to use Maybelline.
Sorry, I
Stefan?
just did not know as a player.
It's fine. Like, it's fine to ask. Like, I am here to fill in gaps of universal knowledge that your characters or you as a player might need.
Thanks.
So Stefan looks at Koronix and Ava. Is there any way to give a false impression of somebody having psionic powers?
Would I know about the psionic jamming helmets and if they're relevant for this situation?
Difficult, Captain. Very difficult.
Psionic jammers.
Doable.
I don't know. There's little helmet things you can buy that are super expensive.
They're auto thought blockers. They don't create a psionic signal, they actively block them. So it wouldn't be useful for like disguising someone as psionic.
So if someone was psionic and was wearing one, they wouldn't necessarily, they would still seem psionic or non-psionic.
They wouldn't be like ambiently psionic, but there's still the point of if you can't project any psionic abilities, how are you know?
Mhm.
I have a question.
But there is a level of psionic that doesn't have any actual. I'll answer you in a second. 1 second. But there is a level of psionic that doesn't have any manifestable powers, which are wranglers. Wranglers are low-level psionics who can't manifest any psionic powers, but they do have psionic detection ability.
Mm-hmm.
And your question, John.
And this is a question that Fang wouldn't know, but the rest of the party would. What's our goal going into this place?
Learn more about the Sons of Creation.
Learning more and seeing if you can retrieve. At least Rachel's goal is to see if she can retrieve Teddy.
Okay.
Yes.
Or information about him.
Okay.
Yep.
So
We also know that it's heavily guarded, and it's probably not a good idea to just send Rachel in with her flame flower.
yeah, no, I get that. Why? Yeah, it's so. Why do we need to pose as a psionic to get in?
You don't know that you can get in as a non-psionic because the Sons of Creation are a psionic supremacy movement.
No, I get that, but we're a special ops force. We can stealth in or create a hole or a distraction or any other number of plans that don't require somebody posing as a psionic and going in when we don't have that capacity.
If Fang wants to express all of those things,
I can't.
Then
But
Fang
I can't. But I'm the player who can't vocalize that in character. I'm asking that question.
I get that.
I have a lot of feelings that Ava absolutely is not vocalizing at this time about strategies here.
Yes.
And it's up to you guys to try and figure something out to try. Like you guys are going to be leading most of this because it's up to you to decide how to approach this.
Yeah, it's just one of those. It's one of those things where it's like everybody's stuck on this plan, and I can't.
Nobody's stuck on.
Scouting would be advisable.
First of all, I didn't even get the answer out before it got shot down. No, it was simply one question.
Yeah,
because he's weighing several options.
Mm-hmm.
Jack was saying something and we couldn't hear you. Or we could hear you, but it was very quiet.
Sorry.
Yes, Captain, perhaps a scouting mission might be advisable in this situation.
Of course. That's...
Potentially.
The my concern of that and why I want us to have a stronger game plan before we start scouting it out is, and forgive me for not being entirely up to full knowledge on psionics. I don't want us necessarily getting too close and revealing our hand without meaning to.
Which you do know, it takes a high-level psionic to read deeply into someone's mind, but they do exist.
I'm less concerned about that, although yes, that's a concern. Then people will happening to psionically detect or otherwise detect a bunch of non-psionics poking around the outside of the general vicinity of the building.
Captain, I'm certain you're familiar with the thought blocking technique.
Would Stefan be familiar with the thought
Yes, you would
blocking
absolutely.
technique?
You would
'Cause
absolutely be familiar with thought
Jeremy's
blocking.
not.
So thought blocking is basically if you imagine the Star Wars mental training to resist force intrusion.
Okay.
It is the idea of mentally creating a wall to hide yourself from psionic detection. Basically, I'm trying to keep all of my thoughts internalized so they can't pick them up.
Yes, I'm familiar with that.
That would be our first and simplest defense against unwanted scans.
And to be fair, thought blocking is not perfect. It does require a test to try and pierce through.
Right. Mhm.
I would imagine so. Otherwise, psionics is pretty damn useless.
Yep.
I'm open to other input if anybody has any.
Random sounds of growls.
Well, if we want to scout this place out, then
Scouting or otherwise.
yeah.
Any input would be good.
Well, once we have ascertained what their fortifications are, then we can formulate a strategy from there. Possible options would include aerial insertion, stealthy approach,
Mm-hmm.
frontal
Rachel,
assault.
your opinion?
Mm-hmm.
Letting a Zerg loose in the air vents.
Well, I ain't rightly got one, seeing as this ain't real my mission. Just, you know.
It is your mission, as
Well-
much as it is ours.
Sorry, I apologize. What I meant to say was that y'all are the group, and
Uh-huh.
I'm just some hanger-on who's not real interested in causing any undue strife. So whatever y'all think is best is obviously the right choice.
Believe me, we don't want to cause any undue strife either. But the easiest way to accomplish that is to make sure that we're all acting as one. If you do have any thoughts, we would be very welcome to hear them.
Well, how many of these people we all think is going to be in that building when we get there? What do you think the what do they call it, the demographics of such a place might be?
He indicated that it was highly defended.
Yes.
All right.
And everybody was a psionic.
Oh, well, that's not good. They're all like number 7 over there.
I'm gonna go through his corpse, see if there's anything that
He did specifically indicate that the staff was psionic.
Yeah.
That implies that the staff of the facility, you don't know if all the guards are psionic. Because it would be very difficult to field a full complement of guards and have every single one of them be psionic.
Unless they're all player characters.
But then again, psionic superiority movement, who knows?
And no one knows exactly how psionics come about in a human being yet. That science is still being worked on. It's very much sort of a genetic defect at the moment. If you can call it a defect, if it actually makes you better, but you know what I mean.
Genetic abnormality.
Yeah, it's a genetic abnormality at the moment.
I'm gonna search this guy. I'm gonna look at Cornix. You fed him all, but you fed our friend all of them, but this one, right? Because he was still alive.
This is true.
Did you search for any data pads or?
He'll gesture across the room to where there is a stack of 3 protective vests, 3 repeating pistols,
Okay.
2 light slug mags, and 60 credits.
Okay. Well, I guess I'll do more than a cursory glance. I'll look for any secret compartments in this guy's vest or something, because they had to have a way to communicate back that they completed their mission and taken us out,
Are you guys all piled in the communication room right now?
Yes.
pretty
Okay.
much. So I'll
I
do
mean,
a
I think that it's
more
fair to
thorough
say
investigation.
I think that it's fair to say that they had some sort of listening device or something on him, considering that they popped a kill switch.
He might have just missed a checkup to see how everything was going.
And William,
Valid
this
point.
is Vasquez, right?
Yeah, that's Vasquez.
Cornix will turn to Vasquez. Does Taskforce Whiskey have alternate objectives, or are they looking for, what is the Terran phrase? A bit of the action.
Well, to be 100% honest, yeah, we're looking to get in on this. If you might have need of us, we do have a ghost.
Excellent. Captain?
All right.
You know what I've always been a fan of? A good
What?
old-fashioned distraction. Something loud, something bright, something shiny. Something good.
Something pants-wettingly terrifying.
I suppose that'd work too.
That wasn't in character. In character, Fang goes.
Oh,
What kind of distraction did
It
you have?
it's
in
hard to
mind?
quip when all you can do is growl.
well, I'm always a fan of fireworks, for what it's worth, but mayhaps those would be a bit tough to come by.
That's
fireworks.
That is probably something best saved for when we move past the recon stage, because that's not something that will work twice.
I've also found a good marching band
How
to be not a
bad
bad
would
distraction.
it be to set off fireworks on the densely populated planet of civilians?
That
You
depends.
don't-
Depends on what you mean by fireworks.
You don't You don't shoot them at the densely populated civilians, unless you're really aiming to.
I was asking out of character because I don't know as a lore thing.
Rachel's just having a conversation with all of these ideas out loud without anyone else's responses.
We're all looking at her like,
Yeah.
So that
I mean, Fang's
depends.
responding. It's just growls.
You and me,
Obvious-
little dog, we're gonna get along just fine.
Obviously, civilians love a good celebration, and fireworks might draw civilian attention very easily, especially in like densely populated areas. If there's spectacular enough fireworks, you might draw a crowd pretty quickly.
Oh wait,
Um,
we're talking actual real fireworks and not
Yeah,
like
'cause
massive explosions.
We're not talking sabotaging a fuel depot.
I mean,
No, actual fireworks. That's why I said a marching band's always good too. Give the people something shiny, something to look at, cause a calamity, lots of symbols. You know, get their attention, draw it in a line elsewhere.
Can we hire a 12-piece band, marching band?
Actually, there are
Marching.
rules for hiring people.
Marching, mariachi, anything like that'd be good.
Stefan looks over at Rachel and says, so I just want to clarify, in the future we should take the things that you're saying literally and not as euphemisms.
Yeah, why wouldn't you?
Okay. Duly noted.
Is that, once again, is that something I can insight check?
That depends.
Survive.
Are you being 100% honest, Rachel?
Yeah.
The Stefan side of it. I don't care about Rachel's.
Oh, that's
Oh,
the fun side of it.
that's-
That's up to Jeremy.
Yeah, go for it.
Okay. I don't remember which role that is.
That is, I think it was a...
perception or no? I don't know.
I think it's perception.
So
Okay.
the cost for hiring a labor force, which we'd probably also consider a band, is
We're not
75
hiring
credits.
a band.
Is 75 credits per individual per day.
Well,
We're
we're
not
only gonna
hiring
need
a-
him for a couple hours, and
We're not hiring a band for that much for certain.
it better be.
If we're gonna hire a band, we're not gonna pay that much. We're just gonna hire them, promise to pay them after the fact, and leave them in it. I mean, that was out of character. All right, so
Was it-
there is no deception,
really?
so influence.
Influence, definitely.
Yeah, definitely be influenced to lie. Bing, 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 bing.
Someone's communicator's making noises again.
Oh, sorry, that's mine.
No, that was mine.
It was also mine, but yeah.
I feel like see, we here at Final Show Films have this strange curse where whenever we sit down to record things, people forget to turn their phones off, and like almost every time.
I am in the middle of renting an apartment. Screw you.
To be 100% fair, that was not my phone because my phone is on silent. That was my iPad. So
No, and that wasn't even like pointed at you. Just every time we sit down to record something, someone's device or something goes off. It's kind of funny.
See, here's the part where I would say that no one ever calls me, so you don't have to worry about it. But now that I've said it, someone will call me.
So silence your phone. It's probably a problem.
Ooh, good point. Where is it?
It was an honest question that any looking down upon that might have possibly been inferred underneath the politeness was legit.
Okay.
Wait a minute. You don't take her seriously?
No, takes it very seriously.
That's what insight rolls are for. Or perception, I guess.
Anyways,
Well, before we get too settled on not a plan, maybe we should find this place, and then we can stake it out.
And that
the adjutant indicated that she was capable of determining a few options, I believe.
Vera speaks up. I've actually found some locations. I've found the site itself in the municipality. It's actually jutted up against by several other buildings. It looks to be an old clinic. It's a small structure, but heavily guarded. If I had to guess, the maximum complement this kind of building could have would be a couple dozen in regards to staff. But civilians inside, there could be anywhere from 10 to 50, I'd argue.
And we don't necessarily know the capabilities levels of the civilians they're harboring.
Are you able to determine the energy consumption by this structure?
It's actually, well, the energy it draws from the municipality is the standard for the area. It doesn't seem to be pulling any more or any less, but it also, well, initial scans show a little bit of energy output from the building, actually. So they've likely got generators.
Ooh, see, that's where something a little heavier duty than fireworks would be effective.
So, Adjutant, I'm assuming this is, like most areas, pretty densely civilian.
Yes, actually, it's south of Dead Man's Port. Actually, it's near one of the municipality park districts, but it is just outside of it, which means that it's in a very high-rent civilian district. Was high rent, I should correct, because it is currently now a slum after, well, the last Battle of Korhal. That happened to be very near Dead Man's Port. Dead Man's Port isn't exactly a pretty place anymore. They're working on restoring it, but...
Do we know how openly this place is operating as a refuge for psionics?
They don't have direct correlation with the Sons of Creation from public record. That said, the Sons of Creation are a publicly labeled as a terrorist group, while some see
Right.
them as a movement. So they do, however, are publicly acknowledged as a psionics assistance and care unit. They are legitimately a therapy station for psionic individuals.
How much water is the building drawing? They
What
can
if-
match their power, but
We don't
everybody
necessarily
needs
need.
water.
Sorry, go. I interrupted.
Hydropower, well, hydro measurements from the municipality brings it in at either excessive consumption for 30 to 50 or average consumption for 40 to 60 individuals.
Got a better number.
Still, the odds are not fantastic, even should the majority be civilian.
Yeah.
Now, forgive me if I'm wrong, but did we already cover this part? I was drifting a bit. What's the problem with just going in there?
We're covert.
It is purportedly
Going
a
in there
heavily
half,
fortified location.
Going
Right,
in there
but-
and saying, I want to talk to these Sons of Creation and also get Freddy back.
No, not like, going in there and telling them what we're doing, but what's the point of just going in there and pretending like we're civilians? For whatever
Well-
their clientele normally is.
That's the concern is none of us are psionics, with the exception of Cornix.
Which one's that one?
The Protoss.
Oh, number
I
7?
point at Coronat.
Ah, number 7. Excellent.
It,
Therefore, we would have no reason.
Ava
for
will
this
turn to
come up.
Cornix. Is there a reason she calls you that?
This one, the one who is designated Rachel Harmon, seems to have an aversion to proper names.
No, I told you why I call you that.
Because of your past incarceration.
Well, you may get it sound all flowery and fanciful, but yeah, that's why. Well, fine. So we've ruled
Rachel is
out.
quickly has the thickest of the psychological profiles.
There is a moment of pause where Stefan, for the first time, is literally struck with nothing to say.
Fang growls into the room, just idly.
Yeah, I heard you, but it ain't gonna change nothing. Oh, sorry. You don't always talk to that guy,
Sorry,
do
Fang,
you?
we're trying to figure out how to do this without you getting yourself killed.
As I understand
Need a
it,
shotgun. Can anything really
That's
kill
what
him?
I thought.
I bet that one would like a marching band and fireworks.
For
with
lunch,
the
yes.
assistance of Taskforce Whiskey, there will be 3 potential scions.
True.
Like how you said 3.
Huh?
Like how you said 3.
Well, he knows Stone and Zaxathus.
Oh, Zaxathus. Yeah, that's fair. But you say that like Zax would actually be willing to pose as a civilian, or that anyone would take him for a civilian.
Oh, we haven't even gotten within a country mile of posing as civilians. He's just counting how many scions we have on the field.
The statement was 3 psionics, not civilians.
Well,
The United States is calling
there
me,
is-
apparently, collectively.
if there is no objection, Captain, I will begin investigations of this location.
To be honest, I'm somewhat less than comfortable with you going in alone.
If you need it, I can have Stone
Ab-
accompany him.
That would put my mind a little bit more at ease.
I would welcome this.
I look at Fang with an expression that just says no.
Fang doesn't read your expressions.
Unfortunately,
I understand
Fang, the
That is
other one
Fang's
was
failing, and if Fang does something wrong, then it's Fang's fault.
Yep.
You do have access to the full forces of Task Force Whiskey for this mission.
Much appreciated.
Thanks to our new friend, I'm going over his canister rifle right now, but the nice thing about those compared to my other gun is that some of the ammunition is a little bit more flexible. So if we do run into a large group, if Vera could search for ammunition stores that mayhaps would sell stun canisters, basically the ultrasonic canisters, that would help with potential crowd control.
I should let you know that canister rounds are very rare because most of the people who use those are Dominion ghosts. You'll be looking at a military storehouse.
Oh shit, that's right. How did these fuckers get one then?
Well, he's registered as missing from the ghost roster, so apparently they got their hands on him, and that's how they got it.
Yeah.
Although, that is a question. I suspect that if that's the same canister rifle he fled the ghost program with, he'd be more out of ammunition.
Yeah.
That's
You said he had
comforting.
2 clips?
Yeah, he had 2 magazines.
He had 2 magazines? Plus what was in his...
Plus the fully loaded... He only fired 2 shots out of it.
Yeah, so that's 58 rounds. That's 58 canisters. What kind of canisters were they?
They were all lethal canisters.
Okay.
Your standard canister rounds.
Okay.
Hexplosive canisters.
That is a worrisome development, then, given that it seems the Sons of Creation may have deeper pockets than one would expect for such a chaotic and insurrectionist movement.
Could
Yeah.
that alternatively be implied as they had more than one missing ghost?
I'm afraid I can't get you information on that one. The Dominion likes to keep their missing ghosts on lockdown.
That is fair. Yes, go in. Obviously, look for any information that you can. Do not spend too long in there. Are we able to figure out what level? Can we do some sort of, and this is a lore thing probably, but can we do some sort of scan to see how much radio transmission is coming in and out, or communication transmission, data transmission, anything like that?
Hi. I've been trying to get into their communications for a while now. They're heavily encrypted, but they do send out a fairly constant stream of traffic somewhere. There's one connection that the tunnel has not gone down in the past week.
If somebody
Okay,
were
so
inside, I
for-
would assume that would make it much easier.
For me as a player, what kind of things are transmitted as data, and what sort of data would be significant and consistent?
Communication logs, if someone is keeping a constant stream of communication, either video or audio, with a specific location. Either a security feed if it's being transported off planet, a backdoor management connection for someone off planet trying to manage operations on this facility. If you can imagine in any setting, why would someone want to have a constant connection to a location?
So I instantly thought Rogue One. which I don't think is what we're getting at here.
I don't know. I haven't seen Rogue One, so you'd have to elaborate.
The Death Star plan's level of content.
Maybe?
So probably more something like a video stream would be what's being described.
Likely. Like, if it's one secure tunnel that is continuously upgoing, so it implies that it's a constant stream of data, which would probably be a video or audio stream or a control
Security
connection.
feeds, things like that.
Yeah.
Not like we're harvesting information here and then sending it onward, sort of thing.
No,
So-
that would be opened in burst connections.
Adjutant, Vera. If somebody were on the inside, would you be able to guide them to to somewhere that will allow you to have an easier time unlocking this information?
I'm afraid I don't have a layout of the building, and tracking IP addresses is not quite as simple as it's in this spot.
No, absolutely.
But if you can find your way to the right computer, and I have an uplink with someone, I could guide them through getting access to the information we need. This is someone who actually knows how IT works telling you how to do IT work. So
Right. Right. No, yes, I know.
This is a fish telling you how to swim.
Like, I'm not going to tell you, like, oh, the computer's on this location of the room, because that's not how IP addresses work.
Right. No, I didn't know whether she had a full map.
No, yeah.
That
She-
was what I didn't know whether or not.
Yeah, she confirms that she does not have a layout of the
Okay.
building.
Adjutant, given that this is a clinic, are there any clinic building restrictions that would give us indications of the layout they would need to maintain?
I can confirm it's only 2 floors, at least upwards. It might have a basement floor. That said, layouts typically include that the front will be a lobby for accessing and receiving, and then from there the layout is almost entirely up to the construction work. And I can tell you right now, Core Hall has been through a lot of different construction workers.
Insert
Okay.
political dig at Republicans here.
So, here's what I'm thinking as a plan. First things first, we send the psionics in to get us as good a lay of the land as is possible. Based on that information, perhaps if there is an opportunity, they can make their way back for a follow-up meeting or something like that. That will hopefully, point of Rachel, provide the distraction for us to get in, get into the computer system, etc., etc., etc.
Given that it has the potential to be challenging for Cornix, I'm assuming that your Taskforce Whiskey's team member, if things go badly, has the capacity to contact others through technological means.
And we have
yeah,
the
Stone
ability
has-
to do that.
Stone's one of our
No,
best geared men.
It's just Ava remembers that even though Cornix's phone is on grandpa mode.
Oh, Zaxithros, you mean? Yeah, Zax has gotten more familiar with Terran tech over
Oh.
the years.
Point.
Yep.
Okay, Zax does have the xenoscience talent.
Well, in that case, Stone and I shall investigate.
Yeah, if you're just planning on
And Cornix
popping-
will walk right out of the room.
Okay.
Ava will wave goodbye.
Well, let me go contact Stone. I'm sure he's waiting nearby.
Fang gets up to follow.
Fang, stay. Guard.
Fang looks at you, tilts his head, then goes back into the corner. And you just sense dejection.
I kicked Puppy.
I want to go play.
So I'm gonna look at a map of the area. What's the buildings surrounding? I know it said the buildings were, or it was set up in between a whole bunch of buildings. But I'm like, what about across from it?
See,
I'm basically looking for buildings with lines of sight.
So it's a clinic that was kind of
easy
set up.
access.
It was a clinic that was kind of set up to be fast access for initially for people in the civilian district. So it's right next to a pair of apartment complexes, and directly across from from what in the municipality says is currently a general store.
see, you should be going along with them, Oswald, because you are reading my mind.
I plan on going behind them. I'll go with
I
them.
planned on telling you to go behind them and going with you. I just didn't want them to know because if their minds do get read, yes, you get the idea.
Yeah. What tall buildings, if there's any tall buildings across from it, provide decent lines of sight? Do I see any?
Yeah, like there's several different apartment complexes built around these facilities. Like it's sort of apartments, general store, apartments, other stores. This is a civilian sector. There's a lot of buildings that are tall enough to get inside and get a good vantage point.
Okay.
Jack.
Yeah.
Where did you point when you said guard?
I pointed at Stefan.
Okay.
That's what I would have done.
That is valid.
No, I'm
That's
radiate
fine.
approval.
I can stay back. Once I start walking and Spank starts following, I pause.
All right, I'm gonna move the
what are
map screen over to Core Hall.
If there's public records on, I don't know, what's it? How full the building is, capacity. If the building's at capacity, basically how lived in it is. I'm looking
on
for
the apartment complexes that you're looking at.
Yeah,
That's usually pretty easy to find.
Yeah, that's there's a couple of them.
Rentals.com.
This section is in a downswing right now because it's still recovering from the last battle on Core Hall. So it's not super lived in at the moment.
Okay.
Like we're talking like this was supposed to be, highly populated apartment complex, but currently it's acting like the Bronx.
Retroactive thought. I'm not going to change anything, but Ava, it just occurred to me, so it's just occurring to Ava. If this place was involved in, the last battle, would that mean the Protoss is distinctly unwelcome there?
Actually, the last battle was largely Zerg.
Okay, never mind. Sorry, I just didn't lore.
Yeah, the last major battle on Core Hall that took place near Dead Man's Port was during the Amon crisis. It was mostly Terrans fighting Terrans with Zerg and monstrous hybrid creation thing support. It was a rebel group known as the Mobius Corps. Was the last major battle near Dead Man's Port.
Okay. Sorry, you said at some point you mentioned that Protoss had at some point
Wouldn't it
fought
have been
this planet.
Yeah, wouldn't it have been the remains of the Mobius Corps that Nova found and then...
That was not at Dead Man's Port.
Oh, that wasn't? Okay. That was just on
Okay.
Core Hall in general.
Cool.
All right.
Yeah, Dead Man's Port, the last major battle was during the Amon crisis. In fact, it was, if you remember from the campaign, Legacy of the Void campaign, it was the retrieving the focus,
Got it. Yeah.
the Keystone mission.
Okay, so
I'm assuming Ghost the stone just shows up.
Yeah, you're walking out of the ship, and a couple minutes later, Stone just decloaks, walking in stride with you.
Well, I shall, how do you phrase it, allow you to take point on this, given that it is members of your species, primarily, that reside within our operating theater.
Well, I'm glad that you're going to let me take point because I think he feels like he's in charge as he thumbs over his shoulder and you see Zacathras also decloaked next to Stone. Oh, don't worry. I will let you exercise your expertise.
I am so looking forward to Team Zion.
Meanwhile, back on the ship, as I start moving, and then Fang, I assume, starts moving.
No, I let you get a few steps ahead and then start moving.
Okay. Look back.
It's like you might get out the door and then I'll be moving behind you.
Okay. Look at Oswald.
Have fun. And I walk out.
Wait.
What?
I look over at Rachel.
What?
Since you're working with us, would you mind accompanying Oswald on a recon mission?
What kind of recon are you referring to?
Well, if all
Some
goes well, I'll
observation.
just need you to watch the door while I
Okay.
aim.
Oswald's specialty is as a sniper.
The kind where you
I mean, I'm
reconnoiter.
pretty good
Well,
at it.
isn't that lucky for
But
him?
there will assumedly be no sniping at this particular moment unless needed.
Yeah, if everything goes as planned, all I'll need you to do is watch the door of the apartment building we may or may not have to break into.
You know
That's
that every time
bad.
you take a sniper somewhere and you say something like, "No sniping's gonna be necessary," that's when sniping happens.
If it does,
She
it
speaks
does.
from experience.
I like
But,
Rachel, I like the way you think. That being said, this is primarily obviously, if things go wrong, do what you can. But we need to know outer security obstacles. And anything you might be able to get through the windows, although I doubt you will get much.
get more than posting up on the fire escape looking over there with a rifle. So,
So yes.
yeah.
How-
I have an uplink that should be able to reach to the ship, so would I actually be able to broadcast? Like, would I be able to stream what my helmet mask, what I'm
Yeah.
viewing?
If your uplink is connected to the ship, you should be able to stream your video.
Yeah.
I don't know. Have you connected your helmet account to Twitch?
Need
Yeah.
to authorize
Is
the
the
Twitch
Twitch
app,
syncing?
also
Is-
the YouTube
Yeah.
Is
gaming
game show
app.
working?
Make sure that you're set on. Make sure you're set on creative,
No, I'll set it to fitness.
and that you have a title.
Uh,
Just set it free running
Yeah.
or free climbing.
Test your mic.
But yeah.
but yes,
So
yes.
yeah,
I need.
I have
Please
my
do transmit all information back here, so we can watch as you die if things go bad. I'm joking.
Oh, if things go bad, I ain't going anywhere near it.
Once again, can I roll a insight on that? Or perception?
Yes. Yes.
Thanks.
Can
You
I
absolutely
roll
can.
a I'm trying to think of what it would be. Is there a thing I could roll to figure out when these humans are going to do something interesting?
I'm gonna say the natural one fails.
Okay.
So the natural one, my 6 beats Stefan's 6 by not being a natural 1.
Yes.
Cool.
Is there
Are
a-
you lying about that?
Am I lying about what? No, it was
The
honestly a
statement,
joke.
so we can watch while you die.
It was honestly a joke.
Okay.
Did he legitimately find it funny? No.
Okay.
It was him attempting to be funny in order to put everybody at ease.
Good to know.
So, like, can I roll like a survival check or something to see when these humans are going to do something? As Fang's,
I'm already walking out
as
the door.
Fang's boredom meter rises.
Yeah, you can roll survival.
I mean,
I mean, I have almost everything I already need on me. I'm taking both taking both the rifles.
19.
okay.
I
So
have
basically,
ammo that I
it
need.
seems like the person you're supposed to be guarding is going to be sitting here for a while.
Fang starts to knead the metal floor. Just
Ava's gonna actually go and investigate Fang's new friend if he's still around.
So
The dog,
Yeah.
he's still around.
Can I do like a medicine check on the dog?
Yeah.
Cool.
Team Scion walked there, right?
So yeah, Stefan, you just hear Fang start to claw the floor.
He's heard much
This-
worse things in his life.
Harsh razor nails on metal.
Rachel goes over, gives Fang a disapproving look, and snaps her finger, and then starts to like scritch him behind the ears if he has ears.
Vaguely
Didn't
ear-shaped
Oswald
things.
already leave?
No, I'm walking out
Oh,
of
okay.
the communications room, but as I walk out, I turn around. Somebody can use the tracker that they have and the van that we still have
So
and drive in the opposite direction of where we're headed.
there's
Ooh.
no reaction from scratching Fang on the back of the neck area. Also, it feels like hard chitin, not flesh.
Yeah. She's pretty sure it's not the right thing to do, but she's working on it.
Like, you've seen Zerg before, you've never really seen a friendly Zerg.
Like I said, she's working
You
on
still
it.
haven't.
Fair.
She just it's like when someone doesn't know how to comfort you and is like, there. Let me just
It'll be okay.
Fang's just
it is okay.
Fang's just
All right.
casually wrecking the floors.
All right. So, Team Scion,
Yep.
the three of you make your way to the street that the Angel's Arms is supposedly on. And you find yourself on what appears to be a sort of rundown civilian street. It's seen better days, but there are still, occasionally civilians walking. The two Protoss are drawing definitive looks from basically everyone. Because Core Hall is still the Terran capital world, and Protoss presence is not a commonality.
Yep.
It's not inciting a panic like Zerg presence would be, but
But we're grabbing some attention. What does Zaxithris have weapon-wise? Does he use side blades as well?
yeah, he has twin side blades on his wrists.
Twin-
Also, he has cannons on his wrists as well.
Okay, gotcha. Well, once we get sort of closer to the Angel's Arms, I'll just sort of make a gesture for our ghost friend to walk ahead of us, and we will draft.
All right, so you basically become a loose phalanx
Yep.
as the three of you make your way towards the Angel's Arms. As you approach the door, one of the guards at the front, who is standing with, so civilians in the Dominion are permitted to carry weaponry.
Mhm.
It's kind of necessary when you are afraid of being invaded at any individual point.
Yeah.
It's very recent, like under Mengsk, under Arcturus Mengsk, they were not, but under Valerian, they are allowed to carry arms to protect themselves. These guys are carrying basically the highest end equipment that you could say was civilian owned.
Okay.
which is to say street sweepers and long rifles.
Oh, all right.
Like,
How many of them are there?
there's 2 of them standing on the door.
Okay.
This Stone informs you they are wearing the most they could be and still be considered civilian guards.
Okay.
And he suspects that those inside probably have better gear.
Okay. Well, we're just gonna make a. I mean, I'm sure they've obviously seen us coming.
Oh
right?
no, like you're not being stealthy in any way.
Right. Yeah. Cornix will just tell. Oh, because he can talk out loud to an individual without being overheard. That's right.
Yeah.
Stone, do we wish to simply ask for assistance and entrance to this facility? Get a visual of the inside?
We're about to find out. 1 second. And Stone separates from the 2 of you, walks ahead. And takes his helmet off as he proceeds to walk forward. You are greeted with a short crop of black hair and several different facial scars as he's walking away from you, so you can't see the full profile.
Right.
But he looks surprisingly young for a Dominion ghost, especially for how battle worn he looks. But as he walks up to the door, you don't quite overhear the hushed conversation that he has. But after a couple of minutes of talking, he looks over his shoulder and waves the 2 of you.
I'll let Zax go first and just keep half a stride behind him.
Zaxithris looks at you over his shoulder, and you, Protoss, obviously can't chuckle, but there's that eyebrow movement that looks like a smirk. And he just turns and, with purpose, just strides forward after Stone.
I give him a mental wink and keep right up there with him. Just half a step back.
Zaxithris is still in full combat armor, which obviously, when you've seen what someone like Alarak wears, is black, spiky, and dangerous looking.
Dangerous as hell.
So as the 2 of you approach up behind Stone, he just kind of looks at the 2 guards. Yeah, those are with me. The 1 guard just kind of looks at the 2 of you. Well, damn, where'd you get a couple of Protoss? You know what? I probably don't want to know. Go inside and feel free to take a seat. One of the receptionists will get with you in just a minute.
Thank you.
And he's got this awkward look in his eyes of mild mixture between awe and suspicion. Of this is a Protoss standing in front of me. These are the ultimate psionics. Why is there a Protoss standing in front of me? We're on Core Hall.
I am going to try and read him as I go past. And really just gauge how much of that is powered by suspicion and how much of that is just surprise.
He's not thought blocking at the moment.
Okay.
So he is largely... You are sensing a whole lot of surprise and not being sure what to make of the situation. And you get the sense that his first instinct is, You know what? Someone more important will deal with it.
This is above my pay grade. Okay. Awesome. Just follow Stone then.
All right. Stone enters, and the inside of this structure is very clean. It's much cleaner than the outside looks. The outside looks, very much like the slums area. It's sort of like run down the brickwork. If it's not even really brickwork, it's mostly steel. But the metal is kind of scuffed and worn. On the inside, everything is pristine and clean, and you can practically see a reflection in the floor. As you walk in, Stone walks through the reception area and gives like a knowing nod to the receptionist at the front desk, who just kind of like looks at him for a second and nods and lets him walk through. And you got the sense of a mental communication between the two.
Okay.
And walks through as you follow and basically sits down at like a bench that sits in a waiting room for a bunch of individuals. There's probably a dozen what look like civilians and like 4 people in like very pristine, very friendly looking lab coats with clipboards on them. Like 2 women and 2 men just kind of wandering around, having polite conversation with the individuals, talking with them, getting to know them.
Okay. As soon as we got up to the guards, Kornick started thought blocking pretty much the entire way in.
All right. About after you sit down and begin observing the situation, Stone is like taking a look. This is more psionic civilians than I knew were on Core Hall.
Fascinating.
We tend to have a pretty good record, and most people that wouldn't be on it would be children because they're too young to manifest. There's quite a few people here. A moment later, there are like TV screens like plastered all over the walls here. All of them simultaneously activate and turn and show the image of one individual standing in a mostly like sort of front lit but black room, and it is a very tall, very thin man in very plain black. You almost want to say robes, but they're kind of a mix between robes and professional attire because they're very form fit, and they like sort of, the sleeves are very long and slightly flowing, but the chest and torso are very tightly fitting and form fitting across a very thin, almost scrawny torso.
Mm-hmm.
And the you can't see much below the waist, but there is a belt there, although the pants don't appear to be, they look more like a dress robe than pants, but it's hard to say.
Okay.
The man himself, it's hard to, so he's cultivated this look. The outfit is almost the exact same coloration as his hair and facial hair, which covers almost all of his face with the exception of a small band around his eyes, which sort of has the effect of drawing the gaze to his eyes.
Yeah.
Which is a strange effect, and I also need you to roll me a willpower check.
Okay. Just flat willpower?
Yeah.
Okay.
Actually, add mental training if you got it.
Okay. Yeah, I definitely have that. Let me see here. Does my psi level affect this at all?
Yes.
What modifier do I get for that? Just whatever my level is?
Just add your psi level. Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
21.
So you, Zax and Stone are fine, but you notice that basically the instant this guy appears, all eyes in the room are locked on these screens.
Okay. As I'm seeing this visual, because as you're describing it, it sounds like almost like a human who's trying to make himself look like a Protoss, with that sort of uniform texture and literally just the eyes up here.
Difficult to say. You can still make out the outline of his mouth. It looks
Okay.
more like a human who has. I'm gonna be 100% honest. Out of game, he looks like Rasputin.
Okay. That's fair.
It's a Malkavian. Run. Or a cult of ecstasy. Or a sorry.
A puppeteer.
I'm sorry.
Like he's very tall and lanky with the giant bushy black beard and black hair that just kind of obscures everything but his
Okay.
upper face.
All right.
So you're drawn to like the nose and the eyes.
Okay. Gotcha.
Makes
more sense.
suspect the appearance is very much designed to draw the gaze to his eyes,
Mhm.
but you don't think he's quite like trying to look like a Protoss.
Okay.
And as he begins to speak, everyone in this room except for the three of you seems to be fixated on these screens. You know. Welcome, brothers and sisters, to the Angel's Arms. This is a place of peace, of healing. A place where you can forget the troubles of the outside world. Each of you here with me possesses a gift, a natural power, no matter how great or small, that makes you different from the misguided masses out there.
Hi, Bray.
That gift saw you mistreated and looked down upon, seen as a freak, a monster, a weapon. But not here. Here, you are more than a monster, more than a weapon, more than a freak. Here, you are special. You are a hero. You are the future. Those who do not understand your gift fear you and mistreat you. But here, that fear does not make you less than them. That fear makes you dangerous. It makes you powerful. It makes you something more. Here, you will learn, you will be shown that what even the weakest among you can do, and that it is so much more than they can ever hope to aspire to. Welcome to the Angel's Arms, each of you. You are where you belong, at the precipice of a new age among your brethren. A new age is coming for all of us, and we will make it our own, for we are, each of us, the daughters and the sons of creation. Welcome. Welcome, each of you. Enjoy your stay. And after a few moments, the screen goes dark and everyone sort of like blinks for a couple of seconds and returns to what they were doing as if nothing had ever happened.
Was there like an audio sting that sounded like three people screaming slightly? Also, why wasn't he holding a lantern? Come on.
Well, for one, he's too thin to be Bray Wyatt. Like we're
I
talking
was
like
gonna say, I see what happens when Charles Xavier and Magneto swap roles.
Yep. There wasn't like a helpful little scrolling title of, cult leader name at the bottom of the screen, was there?
There's sort of a whispering conversation that sort of spreads among all of the people, and the one name that you can find is like the name that people seem to refer to this individual is Brother Rasputin.
Okay.
And you know that Stone is just sort of that Stone picks up on the name as well, and is like, that's a historical name from Earth for a strange man who is seen to have supernatural powers. I don't think that's his real name, but everyone seems to call him by that.
He's
Well.
from the E. UED.
This has been very enlightening.
Also, did you notice, not even with a hint of natural to it, everyone's attention was drawn to those screens?
Indeed. And do I know anything scientifically that would cause that effect? I mean, psionics can be transmitted, right? Psionic influence.
Psionic influence can be transmitted, but it's not a known psionic ability to be magnetic.
Right.
Like personally magnetic.
Mm-hmm.
The psionic ability that affects mind is typically much more direct. It's mind control, not
right.
This seems to be almost a form of hypnosis.
Okay.
But it's too wide and all-affecting to be traditional hypnosis.
Mm.
Like, there was none of the patter talk that sort of lulls someone's consciousness. It was just straight, his face appears, everyone is snapped to attention.
Right. And did we feel that draw even though we weren't subject to it?
Yeah, like, there was that subtle pull of something about this image that, like, was trying to draw your attention to what he was saying, but all of you were basically mentally strong enough to ignore it.
Okay. Honestly, Cornix, would it be a psionic? What would it be for him to determine if that was something projected by Rasputin, or if there might be something scientific or technological, like a low-level psi emitter or something like that, that they might have actually wired into their broadcast technology?
Roll me psionics.
Okay. Psionics is based on willpower. I think it's rolling.
Hasn't shown up in the chat yet.
It's saying my connection's interrupted. Hang on, let me refresh.
Bray
Whoops.
Wyatt broke your internet.
Bray
Guys,
is
this is
gonna kill you.
Bray is gonna kill your internet.
11. He's killing my psionics is what he's killing.
So
I mean, I was gonna say Verizon's gonna kill you, but
Oh,
So-
even worse. I've got Comcast.
yeah.
ugh.
As a Comcast person,
I also have
Sympathize.
Comcast. They at least have good speeds.
this is true.
So
Depending on where you are.
you suspect that if it was a
like to
built-in
welcome on
psionic emitter, you would still be able to sense it coming off of these devices. But it was
Okay.
only for the duration that his image was on screen.
Right.
So you would have to imagine that it was something coming from him, but typically it's difficult to weave psionics into a transmission. Typically you need some form of actual visual connection.
Right.
Not to mention, it doesn't have the effect of any psionics you've ever seen before.
Right. So this is either unknown technology or unknown psionic ability, and
Which-
he's leaning more towards the second.
Yeah, like it's not impossible that someone develops a unique psionic capability.
Mm-hmm.
That would make this man very dangerous if he does have a one-of-a-kind type of psionics at his disposal. But
Right. Especially one with that far-reaching of an effect. Okay, then.
also, you notice that everyone calls him brother, not father, brother, as
Right.
if he's sort of cultivating this image of everyone is on his level, which is odd for a cult.
Yes.
You know that.
Mm-hmm.
Like typically, a cult leader would want people to look up to him.
Yeah, there's
Whereas
usually
he's-
an authority show.
Depends on the variety of cult of personality you want and the sort of political agenda you happen to have.
This is true, but this man, at the very least, if he is the leader, seems to be cultivating this idea that everyone is his equal,
Mm-hmm.
and that he is simply leading them as a brother.
So Cornix will look around and see if there's any chance of us getting further inside this installation.
You have the feeling that your best chance would have been while everyone was occupied staring at the screens.
Ah, yeah. Well, missed that chance.
Too busy watching the cutscene, didn't react.
There was a QTE in there. You just didn't realize it because the cutscene was playing over the QTE.
Yeah, it was a little. It was that trigger in the bottom right hand corner, and you had to put the controller down. So by the time you got back to it, it was already gone.
That
All
said, you get a look around, and all the people seem to be having conversations. Stone is kind of staring head down, like hooded eyebrows, into the room, and you notice that basically all of the assistants are basically just ignoring the group of you, and you have a feeling that Stone's doing that intentionally.
Okay.
After a few minutes, like probably about 10 minutes later, that same video plays again, and you've seen it once before, so you're not affected by it again, but everyone else is once again has their attention drawn to it.
And now we move. Because that was going to be my next thing is, does it ever recycle?
Yeah.
All right. So would that be a stealth check, I assume?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's not going to be difficult, I promise you.
Well, yeah, but we've seen the way I roll. 17.
Yeah, the group of you basically just try not to bump into anyone and get between anyone's like eye contact and the screen, basically. And it's as simple as that. Everyone doesn't pay any attention to you as you walk through. And you make your way to a door that is on the opposite side. And Stone like stops for a second and senses while this man is talking. And he's sort of like counting down the seconds he's got before the video ends, because he took a record of it the first time around. He picks up no mental thought, no mental activity on the other side of the door. Quickly hacks through it, opens it, steps through.
I am right behind him.
All right. After the three of you are through, he shuts the door again, quickly locks it again, and you find yourselves in what appears to be, you would say an office, but it, like, you would say like one of the doctor's rooms, one of the, like, I'm forgetting the name for the room in which a doctor sees the patient.
Yeah. Diagnostic, kind of.
Yeah. But you find yourself in one of those that has another door on the opposite side that leads further into the facility. But this door is... You shut the door right before you hear his voice stop talking, and you're pretty certain that people just resumed what they were doing.
Okay. Is there any comms equipment or a computer or anything in this room?
Yeah, there's a doctor's terminal, which, you know, they sort of use to gauge up and, you know, access their medical records.
All right. I'm gonna go listen and look for mines on the other side of the second door and point either Stone or Zax towards the terminal and see if they can pull any data off there.
Yeah, Stone.
Give me the delicious medical data.
Yeah.
Yeah, Stone heads over to the terminal and proceeds to work his way into that. Meanwhile, you on the other side, roll me a psionics roll.
Okay. Oh, there we go.
The people on the other side that were thought blocking has stand no chance. There are several armed guards on the opposite side of this door because it looks like this is set up almost like a small I want to say why is the name leaving me? But just sort of the drop-in clinics, where it's just sort of like you got the reception and the line of doctors' offices and in the back.
Right.
So this seems to be like into the back, into the inner workings of this facility.
Okay. Are they on alert currently, or are they just
no? They're just
standing
kind of
there?
idling. They're just kind of idling on patrol.
All right. So I'll subtly broadcast.
They're
towards
T-posing outside the door.
I'll sort of subtly broadcast that to Zax and Stone, just so they're aware that we've got. How many did I pick up?
Within the range of your sense, you pick up 4.
Okay. And then ask them, shall we engage or shall we exit and return with our allies?
Stone doesn't respond for a couple of seconds as he's kind of focused on the screen.
Mm-hmm.
And after a couple of seconds, he inserts a data disk and begins to download. Sorry. There's some interesting information on this terminal. We may have something to go off of. I do want to go in deeper, but we shouldn't do this alone.
Well, rather than have to fight through a waiting room of civilians, I suggest we call in our forces from here, then.
I'm not... Maybe. The question of what do we want them to do?
Does this room that we're in, does it have an exterior wall?
It does.
I'll just throw Stone and Zax that little tidbit and see what they think.
I mean, Zax is just in all honesty, we could just incite a panic and see what we can find stealthily through, but I don't know about you. What do you think? It would be so easy. Stone, meanwhile, we're trying to keep this covert. We're actually not trying to let people know that there are terrorists in this facility.
Yeah, that was the agreed upon parameter.
I mean, if you want to let me
You
run
can
loose,
feel
let me run loose.
Stefan's pressure of, I am leader, man.
Stefan's like, why do I have a sudden pressure at my temples? I don't understand.
How do you think every character I play constantly feels about everything?
Fang just wants to go eat some people. Come on.
Yes, we understand that. On our recon mission on the planet where he'll be killed on sight.
Hey.
Panic sounds lovely.
If you kill enough people, there's nobody to report you were there.
I mean, if Fang wants to go out on his own into the streets of Core Hall, that's fine. Stefan's just not going to stop him or back him up.
I think I said earlier in the chat, you wander the streets at your own risk.
I mean, Fang stealths out now. Fang was told to stay, so Fang is waiting.
I'll ask Ghost. I'll ask our Ghost to send an update to command, and then let Zax take care of the panicking people.
Panic people. Clap, 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 clap.
Hey, if we.
Stone, so back at the ship, and you in your perch, Oswald and Rachel receive an update from Stone that they have access to some medical information and some interesting data. They could pursue further into the facility with a distraction to potentially get access to more secret data.
Does he include the fact that whether or not they agree with it, the plan's going forward, or does he just leave it like you might have a choice?
He's hoping that it doesn't go forward, so he
he's asking for a countermand.
yeah.
Well, since I have a digital uplink to the ship, and basically it's acting as a relay to you guys, I'll just quick be like, don't do that. No distractions inside. If there's going to be any distractions, let them be outside. That way, that's where their attention is drawn.
Am I getting this in the communications room?
Yeah.
I'm inclined to agree with Oswald in this case. That said, perhaps since you are already in, we can provide some sort of distraction from the outside.
That would be most welcome.
Oswald?
I have an idea.
You and Rachel, how... You have an idea?
I have flashbangs.
Okay.
How close to this building? How far away from the front door are we?
That depends. How high up are you in this apartment complex?
I'd say probably for a decent line. Is it a one-story building?
Two-story.
2 stories.
It's 2-story. The apartment building is like 12, but okay. the building you're looking at is a 2-story building.
Probably be 4 stories up. And are we on the left, right, or directly across from it?
You're like not quite directly across. You're like off to the right a little bit from your perspective.
Okay, so they're off to my right.
They're off to your left.
Off to my left.
Because you are off to its right.
Okay. I mean, I got a couple ideas. If we want to focus their attention outside,
that would be ideal.
Depends on how many of them do we want to make a scene where there's lots of blood, or do we just want to spook them and get their attention focused outside? Because I could shoot somebody from here, or we could sneak around and flashbang them so that they'll run inside, maybe flashbang them and then get back to a perch.
There's a moment where he's legitimately considering both options.
It'd be a lot easier if I could get to the roof with a grenade launcher. Then I wouldn't have to leave.
I mean, this would be entirely easier with a grenade launcher, but...
Well, hang on, we're 12 stories up. It's across the street.
I thought we were four stories up.
Well, yeah, but we can go to the roof.
Oh, okay.
One of us can.
Well, my question is this. Are there any buildings in the immediate vicinity that look like they are abandoned as opposed to populated with derelict?
Yeah, the one I'm in.
Yeah, the one he's in is basically abandoned.
Besides the one
I'm currently in.
Although the one you are currently in could conceivably work too, you just would want to get out of
it. We're bringing down a building.
It's a distraction.
That's the only one that's like super abandoned. The other ones all have at least some people.
Ava's gonna start reading her book, which is like on a data pad. I assume that's acceptable lore-wise.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, we've managed wormholes and psionics, but Kindles we haven't invented those yet.
I just want to point out out of character that the ethics officer will report me for being on rage and trying to fly, but not on the captain for unsanctioned building demolition.
Okay, you can point that out of character. Not true.
As far as I know, I'll be like, I hope that's going in a book. But
I mean, it isn't unsanctioned until we get caught.
yeah, that's true.
Yeah,
So,
for just a second here, remind me what we're supposed to be getting out of this building that y'all are talking about blowing up.
Information leading to your good friend that you're trying to retrieve, plus towards potentially retrieving a team that, or information about what happened to a team that is important to us.
Now, forgive me for saying, but bringing a building down has a habit of destroying things like evidence and people and.
Oh, we're not getting anything out
Not
of the building.
destroying the building
No.
that the psionics are in.
No, he's talking about destroying the
We're destroying
building
the
that we're
empty
in
building
right
that
now.
you're currently standing in.
Well, mayhaps we should not be
Captain,
standing in it when that
Obviously,
occurs.
you're
Well, yeah, that's the plan.
in charge, but I would present that perhaps mission parameters of not drawing attention and not causing panic on the central world, capital world
of the Dominion, yeah.
capital world of the Dominion might be preferable.
For
Well, I
those,
mean,
for those,
I
have
Right.
for those that know
Because of-
Star Wars, this is the equivalent of leveling a building on Coruscant.
No. This is the equivalent of
Good
leveling
to
a
know.
building in the slums of Coruscant.
This is true.
Nobody
I'm not-
gives a shit if the slums fall apart because they're already falling apart.
Yeah, if they cared about this building, it would be fixed, and there would be
Right.
people in it. But
Now that is expressed by Stefan specifically as saying, you make a very valid point. If we were in a more populated, affluent area, this is an abandoned building that could have very easily fallen down on its own. Should somebody investigate, I'm sure that they would discover that there was some sort of demolition that happened, but I don't believe that the terrorists will report this to the authorities, and I don't believe the authorities will investigate. It
Yes.
will draw people outside. That is all that we're looking for.
I mean, there are way easier ways to make people panic.
All right, can I say I had turned that on when I asked my question?
Yeah, sure.
Kel. Understood. I still caution against it. Leveling a building right next to the terrace might lead locals to question, but
I don't mind
obviously
if
I am not in command.
I don't mind if the locals are questioning the are starting to direct questions towards the hotbed of terrorism. That would be good. Maybe they will stop supporting it. So, now that we have a potential plan of action, note I said potential, we need to figure out how we would potentially bring it down.
This
I
long
don't
and
plan
drawn
on
out
flying this
conversation.
ship and blowing it up.
This long and drawn out conversation. While this is all happening, is anybody investigating that room inside the building? No,
because
that
nobody
Team
has told-
Scion is in.
No, because nobody has told Stefan about it, and
No, as anyone in the building
Anybody
investigating.
that's in that building investigating that room.
No. At the moment, it's being left alone largely because there is a bunch of new people in the building, and the assistants and doctors who are there are getting to know people. You suspect that you probably only have maybe half an hour before someone goes to check in on their personal office. But at the moment, you're fine. So you don't have forever. You can't just hide in this office forever.
Yeah.
so does anybody have ideas how that would be possible?
So Zaxithris opens up over the communications and just says, I could very easily just simply lead people out into the streets. It's not hard.
I would say that's a perfectly acceptable strategic alternative.
Yes, absolutely.
That would draw attention to him, though, as to why he's leading people outside.
I didn't say they would be following me because they want to come with me.
Wait.
If
Okay, so this is unfamiliar with lore again. I'm not misunderstanding this, that would very potentially be picked up by whatever psionics may be in there, right?
Oh, if depends. What are you assuming he's implying?
I'm assuming he's telepathically telling them to leave.
He's pipering him.
Yeah.
That depends on how he goes about it. If he just privately tells individuals that they should be leaving and they decide to leave, that could just be skipped over. If he is forcefully, like, dominating a person and making them walk out, that would probably stand out a little bit more.
Okay.
Also,
Yeah.
there's the other alternative of he's just saying that he can just go kill a guard and have them chase him outside. You don't know with this guy.
That's okay. Stefan says that is an incredibly viable option. And probably much easier to accomplish. Go ahead.
Perfect.
The internal thought process of that is, you're not my crew member, so I don't give a shit if you die.
You don't give a shit if a couple of your crew members die either, so...
Yes, no, that is not true. Absolutely does, because it would reflect badly on him.
Just make sure that the other
Absolutely cares
two
about that.
stay in that room if he intends to do whatever.
However he plans to do it.
Whatever he plans on doing, if it draws the guards in the other room out through, you can get in behind them. And that's less people you don't got to worry about.
That
Oswald?
is the ultimate goal.
Oswald, I assume that you are ready should support be needed in that.
Yeah, I have my suppressor on, so
Wonderful.
they're gonna have a hard time finding me.
Letting the other team's attack dog attack people, but not yours. I see how it goes.
Yeah. Mine doesn't pay attention to anyone. Ever. Except Coronix.
Sometimes.
And not Coronix.
He pays specific attention to certain things, but yeah.
Yeah, so basically in the room I have set up on one window on a table. I have my regular long rifle with a suppressor. And then on a table on a window next to that, I have the canister rifle. If I feel like using explosive rounds. If we decide to go loud.
And Coronix is setting up on door number 2 so that anybody who runs through it will run past him and focus their attention elsewhere.
All right, I would like you to roll a stealth check for me.
Okay.
We're still in the communications room, aren't we?
Yep.
Like, Stefan? Yeah?
Yes.
21.
All right. So, Zaxithris just cracks his knuckles and cloaks and proceeds to walk out the door back into the reception room, into the waiting room.
Okay.
Where, once again, that loop of Rasputin talking is happening, and he just ignites one of his Bane Psyblades and strikes it across one of the monitors. as he decloaks and is suddenly an armed Tal'Darim appearing in the middle of the waiting room as he strikes down one of the monitors. And you can hear him begin to speak something about how the pitiful Terrans think that they can stand up to the might of the Tal'Darim or even begin to measure up to even the lesser members of the Protoss race.
He's talking about me.
I mean, he's talking about the Kalai too, but
he basically is presenting himself as a member of the Tal'Darim rather than a member of any other faction.
Mm-hmm.
And begins to just kind of score along the walls with his psi blade as he ruins some of these terminals. You hear panic coming from the civilians as the guards on the other side on the door that you're hiding next to burst through that door and then through the next door to head back into the main room. As they try and, basically tell him to either put his weapons down or leave, he just, almost turning on his heel, flies across the room and embeds the psi blade into one of the guards.
Yep.
And as the guard drops and the second one opens fire, kind of bouncing off of his plasma shield, he just grabs the other guard in sort of a headlock and proceeds to walk out the front door, psi blade still scoring a path along the wall as he walks.
Just dragging this still living guard with him under one arm?
Yeah, under one arm in the headlock.
Somebody is making a shit ton of noise.
Sorry.
And the other two guards that were in that hallway begin to pour out after him, and several other guards you can hear around the facility begin to make their way after Zaxithris as he makes his way outside and off onto his own. Oswald, you see Zaxithris step out the front door with a guard under his arm in a headlock, and with his free hand just reaches out and slices across both of the two guards standing at the front door and cuts both of their throats as he just kind of continues to walk with this screaming guard under his arm.
So I'm assuming
I
this
guess
is
that's
on the
one
video
thing.
feed Oswald is sending us?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Cool.
yeah, this is being recorded.
So, worthy question. Can I get a perception roll to see that it was recorded?
It's up to you.
can I see what's
Wait,
going on?
which recording? Like
recording
Oswald's system itself, or that I have been
No,
recording?
you're recording.
Yeah, go for it. I don't know if is that a influence or is that a dexterity?
Probably be computers.
Okay.
Their ability to hide that.
Can
I
I,
don't know if
like,
the
is this on a monitor I can see? The uplink?
The uplink, yeah, Vera's probably displaying it on one of the monitors.
All right. Well, now that Fang can actually see something happening, he'll stop digging an increasingly larger pit in the floor.
Can he do that with a spaceship?
I mean, he can sort of scratch runs along it, but he can't really dig a pit.
Okay, he can't damage it.
He can't.
He can't- he
break
can't-
it.
he can't
we've
really-
already
can't really damage.
established- we've
He can
already
scratch-
established that
he can
it's
scratch it up
caused
pretty bad.
metal.
Yeah.
They can cut
Well,
metal,
Dad's
it's not
character.
this metal.
We'll
Yeah,
buff
it's not
that out
spaceship.
later.
And you guys have just been constantly hearing the sound of claws on metal for the past
Yes.
30 minutes.
And at least Ava
Stefan
has just been completely doesn't reprimand him, doesn't interfere, but also doesn't help.
So basically, this is the point where the metal scratching stops. Oh,
Okay.
something interesting to look at.
And
So
yeah,
your
as
perception
soon
can
as
beat the computers.
the
I don't react. I don't try and stop it. I just notice.
All right.
But as soon as the hall is clear, Cornix is going in.
All right. Stone follows behind you. Stone cloaks as he goes. You don't quite have access to the cloaking discipline yet.
Not quite.
Though, so.
Getting there.
As Oswald, you're watching Zax basically just draw out the guards from the angel's arms as he just kind of... He doesn't leave the area because he doesn't want to attract too much civilian attention that isn't related to this area. But he just kind of walks a circle as he drags this one still screaming guard around. And more of the guards proceed to pour out of the building and attempt to shoot at him, but seem to bounce off of his plasma shield.
Okay, Yeah, one of is there anybody that's up on the roof or anything like that? Any people trying to take Overwatch positions and keep an eye on them?
No, roof access is currently not opened up yet.
Not for them. Okay.
Widowmaker.
We don't hear our friend. We don't hear our friends. One shot, one kill.
Release the dragon.
God damn it, Hanzo! Why are you playing Hanzo?
I've got my eye on you.
So
Zax's
he's just
first
walking.
main
You know what?
Hanzo.
You know what? Well,
Are they
good.
following him?
Oh, no, they're
walking
actively-
around in a circle.
See,
Like they're not just they're not just like Pied Pipering around him, but he's just kind of like taunting them as he walks with this guy under his arm, just like holding him up as like a human shield so that they don't like just keep shooting at him. But he's basically just kind of walking circles, decrying these humans in their attempt to even potentially match up to the Tal'Darim, as he basically threatens them with the human that he's got under his arm, that he's just kind of holding as a meat shield. And they don't want to take a shot at him because they don't want to hit their friend.
Okay. If anybody else comes out with a bigger gun than what the other guys already have, or if anybody tries to take a spot on their roof, then I'll take a shot at them with my suppressed rifle. So
All right.
I'll just hold out until then, or if he comes over the comms like, okay, you can shoot someone now, or help me. I doubt he'll ever say that, but
You would never say the exact words, help me.
yeah. But yeah.
You can open fire if you wish.
yeah, something along those lines.
I mean, Stefan's going to say, should you see the need to take a shot, do not wait to be told.
Yeah.
You already
Alright.
have pre-authorization.
Yeah.
Weapons free.
But the longer that they know that it, or the longer they're thinking that it's just him, the better.
Agreed.
So, no bullets until necessary.
Correct. But you determine when that is.
At one point during this exchange, one of the other guards steps forward and is like trying to talk tough to the Tal'Darim, and just while he's looking at the rest of them, just with one hand extends a hand as a shock of lightning emerges from his hands and zaps down this uppity guard.
I don't think he's going to need bullets anytime soon, but I'll be
Do
here.
we still have marine space armor guy with us?
Vasquez is still
Yes.
standing in the room watching. Oh,
Oh.
he's gonna. Oh no, he's actually just going to kill them all, isn't he?
I take it this is typical.
Zax likes to play with his food.
I see.
So does Fang. Zax and Fang have a lot in common.
I ship it.
That'd be like Fax or Zang.
Zang. It's definitely
Zang.
Zang.
Ooh, I like
It's
Zang.
definitely Zang.
Fax or Zang.
Stefan, hearing that he's just going to kill them all, has absolutely no reaction. No change in expression whatsoever.
So what are Stone and I finding?
So,
Ava does not look as repulsed as one might expect of her character.
Mhm. So Stone and you are making your way through the building and just trying to avoid being caught as guards continue to like move around and try and take up positions to see what's going on. And you make your way deeper into this building. And as you're walking, you do manage to make your way. Since it's getting a little bit late, even if you just start late, I'm going to say that you eventually do manage to find your way to what appears to be a mainframe, the central computer system of this facility.
Okay.
And there are a couple of scientists in the room. There's only one guard, though, and Stone, basically upon entering the room, immediately begins to strangle him in a sleeper hold as they enter the room.
Okay.
So, like, the two of you walk into the room, and, like, a couple seconds later, the guard is being strangled out while the scientists haven't noticed yet.
Okay. What would it be? Would it just be perception if I could detect which one of these guys is in charge? Like, which one's the head scientist?
Yeah, it'd be just perception.
Okay.
You just walk up real close. Name tag. Name tag. Name tag.
I'm just waiting for it to be revealed that Teddy is one of the guards that got sliced by
Yeah.
Teddy's a bit too young for that.
Zax.
Teddy's a child.
I feel like Zax would
9-year-old
probably
guy.
notice if there was one that was significantly shorter and younger.
No, he
Yeah.
probably
I mean,
wouldn't. They all
A
look the same.
9-year-old guard.
If Teddy is one of the guards, he made his choice.
Oh,
I don't like how y'all are
That's the
talking
line.
about that.
So with a 17 perception, Cornix is gonna just walk up behind whoever's in charge, ignite his psi blade, and say, "Where is Theodore?"
Oh no.
So the scientists both turn around as you speak and are kind of startled by the presence of the Protoss standing in front of them because they're both unarmed. And they see the guard behind them is currently getting strangled out by a cloaked individual.
Now, is it obvious?
And therefore
you
can only
you can see
assume
the
that
ripple, right?
Therefore, can
Yeah,
only
you-
assume
like-
it's the Protoss doing it.
Okay.
Like you can see like the indent of the slightly hex pattern rippling
Right.
of
Okay.
someone being strangled.
Because otherwise, Cornix was just going to be making this crushing gesture with his hand while they're watching the guy get choked behind him over his shoulder. But no, if you can tell it's somebody else, then
You
he's
can-
not
you
gonna
can
try that.
theoretically
You could theoretically still be doing that because it is conceivable that they could misconstrue that.
Okay. Yeah, we'll do that too.
Roll me influence.
Also,
Psionics just create hex patterns.
also, when you have only 4 fingers, there's only so many passive hand positions you can have.
It's true.
Especially when 2 of those fingers are thumbs. So it's
Not great, but
I mean, they're too scared to not buy it.
okay. Sweet.
So the two of them look up at you, and you obviously have asked the important one, and so the lesser scientist just kind of backs away into a corner and him. You want to ask him? And while you basically corner the lead scientist, and he just kind of backs up against a wall, hands up, is like, Theodore, can you be a little more specific?
No.
Did we get?
We
did
got
we get
a
it last
full name.
I was gonna
and
say.
a location.
Let me check.
Oh my gosh.
How much?
How
How
much-
much?
Rollins. His last name is Rollins.
Rollins.
Theodore
That's what it
Rollins.
was. Yes.
And did you give the group a description of him, or how old he was?
No, I said he's a 9-year-old boy.
Yeah, he said Yeah, I have Teddy age
Yeah.
9 in my notes.
Oh, and he's a little slow. Yeah, that's the.
You also gave a location that he was taken, I believe.
Yeah,
I
Marcel.
did. Marsara.
Cool.
Theodore Rollins, 9 years of age, from Marsara.
A little slow.
He cannot run quickly.
Not that kind of slow.
That's how he took it.
Yep.
Oh, I thought him saying saying it slowly was
Actually,
the indicator
I
that it was
think
slow.
what I. Yeah.
Theodore.
No, I think Rachel
Rollins.
actually said to him. Rachel said he's not the brightest crayon in the box, or something like that.
Yeah.
Not the.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was something. It was some
Yeah.
folksy
He is not
Yeah.
luminescent.
idiom like that.
He
The
possesses
things
no
people say about
bioluminescent
me.
He is not a bright pigment.
One of the
Yeah.
one of the less luminescent humans you might have.
Savon's gonna go, Cornix, just say he's an idiot.
That is an insult, Captain.
Yes, it is. That's what she is intending to say.
All right. He just kind of. We see a lot of people, especially kids. You can check the mainframe if you want. It has ins and outs of everyone that we see. Just please don't kill me.
Stand in that corner with your associate.
Go to the bad evil scientist corner.
He
Yep.
he stands in the corner with his associate, and you notice over your shoulder that the individual
First go
that
to the basement, and then stand and stare in the corner. Because we are the Blair Witch.
you notice that over your shoulder the guy that Stone is strangling is about to be done.
Okay.
Yes.
So do you
Cornix.
try and line up your hand gesture with him letting go of the guard?
Yes, we will do
so
that.
You let go of the guard. You air quotes.
Right.
And as both of them are standing in the corner, Stone just kind of steps up to them and just very quickly throat punches both of them and then shoves into their necks until they've fallen unconscious themselves.
You are a very capable individual.
I am a trained assassin.
It must be. I don't believe incapacitating is going to be sufficient in this instance.
Can you get the data before you worry about that?
Yes, of course. I'm just pointing out. It's going to be very. It's going to be a very conspicuous situation. You being what you are.
Yeah,
Absolutely, Captain.
I think they'll remember the Protoss.
Exactly.
Also, the specific name you gave them of who you're looking for.
And mention of captains and such.
He didn't say that one out loud. That was just over the comms. Because he can direct.
Oh,
his
that's
speech.
right. That's
Yeah.
right.
mhm.
Sorry.
Don't
Don't
but
worry
yeah,
about that.
I'll
But
ask.
regardless.
I'll ask Stone to toss over the computer while I'm going to check all three of these unconscious individuals for weapons, ammunition, and any sort of credentials like key cards or any sort of
Data
security.
pads.
Yeah. So you take off an ID badge off of each of these individuals, which you imagine lets them through most of these rooms that are locked. And while Stone accesses the mainframe, he kind of gets on it for a second and is like, he stops for a second to think. I wonder if I can find, and he just kind of like starts moving through the computer while you're looking around.
Okay. What weapon did the guard have?
The guard had he actually had a good weapon. 1 second. Rifles.
And
he
Ava
had-
will say, sorry.
He had an auto rifle.
Auto rifle. Okay.
Any medical data you can recover about this operation would be potentially very useful for me.
I will pass your request along, Ava Sweet.
I heard it. He takes a tier 3 data disk and shoves it into the slot on this mainframe and proceeds to basically download the entire mainframe.
Nice.
While he's working, there you are. There's that. Damn it.
What has happened?
I found that tunnel that was going off planet, but whoever was there was actively monitoring it and noticed me and shut it down.
That is unfortunate. Were you able
Also-
to determine where it was going?
It's also unusual, but no, I don't have a where. have a what? I have a name. Black Site 1.
Lore check.
Well, that's not too ominous and
Sorry.
Just this side of
Secret-y.
Evil Prime.
right.
No, it's actually 3 blocks past Evil Prime. When you see the giant skull statue that the Legion of Supervillains hangs out in, you found
Okay.
it.
It's
next
stopping. It's stopping just before you hit the one officially called Torture Room.
Oh, okay.
Yes. If you see the upside down pyramid from the Illuminati in Area 51, you've gone too far.
Right.
Good stopping features. Thank you.
All right, roll your lore.
All
Cool.
right.
So, a black site is an actual term. It's just a location that is completely off the map from for your environment, and you don't want anyone knowing anything about. Black Site 1 implies that the Sons of Creation have more than one black site, which implies that they're bigger than we thought.
Cool.
I mean, is this stuff that I would probably automatically know anyways?
Probably yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like Stefan specifically would know exactly. Like
This is
They
kind
have-
of what I
they
do.
have- they have at least one black site, which means that they're a little bit more than just a like grassroots terrorist organization.
Right. Which I
And
think-
like from a politics perspective, I know that meaning of the word. I was just seeing if Ava would get
Oh, no,
the
there's-
context.
There's you got the context. There's no specific like location that is publicly known as Black Site 1.
Black Site 1.
Yep.
Kind of defeats the purpose.
And everybody on your left, you see Black Site 1. If we continue on the tour, on the left, you'll also see Black Sites 2 through 7. 8, 9, and 10 are on your right.
See, that just seems wasteful to add them all in one spot.
It's less
No,
about...
you
it's
don't
less-
understand.
Clearly,
It's
clearly you've
forward.
never played
There's
StarCraft. You
the
always set it out in the grid,
Small
man.
town America. There's
Also, it's you know, it's not only a separation of multiple different facilities under the same name, but it's also a tourist attraction. You see, you have to have them lined up so that you can keep people circling around the block for a while.
I just
Gotta
had so many
monetize the
terrible jokes go through my head.
You never buy
Sorry,
tickets for
we're
yourself.
a
You buy
giant
tickets for your
today.
neighbors.
Yeah, you buy tickets for your neighbors, and you know, this is just the natural evolution of Disney World. I mean, I don't know what the problem is.
We we
That's
don't
what I
call-
get.
we
I
don't
think you mean it's the natural evolution of Universal Studios.
That's what I get black bagged from off camera. Just
we don't call them torture camps. We call them interrogation centers.
we don't call them interrogation centers. We call them the
Somebody
teacups
got
ride.
the joke.
We call them the teacups
Captain.
ride.
Yes.
What shall we do with our 3 incapacitated individuals?
I think it would be best if they were not able to report the presence of Protoss that caused mass chaos.
Just say it. Cut out their
You are
tongues. Do
aware
it.
that these
Say
are
it.
likely non-combatants, correct?
There's 2 scientists are non-combatants. The one guard obviously is a combatant.
Yes.
Not
The
anymore.
implication in the phrasing was supposed to be about the scientists.
Yeah.
Just say it. Cut out their tongues.
No, because these are psionics. It doesn't matter if we cut out their tongues.
Cut out their tongues and lobotomize them.
I mean, that is an option.
I mean, you could
I'm
skip the
leaving it
tongue
in
cutting
their
if you go with the
hands.
lobotomizing.
So I'm leaving it in Cornix's hands
Lobotomizing
after
is
what
a
I said.
complex medical procedure and, well,
Unless he asks
highly
for
looked down
clarification.
upon, still requires precise medical knowledge.
No. It requires a big rock.
That's not how lobotomy works. That's how concussions work. They are different.
No.
I think. I'm not actually a science person.
We call the big rock the Forgetting Stone. And when you use the Forgetting Stone, you just hit enough times that they forget you.
All right, Coronix, what do you do?
I mean, call Fangs
There's
trash
not
attack.
really a blot somebody's memory out psionic skill, is there?
Not that you know of.
Not that you
Okay.
have access to.
Very good, Captain. Stab, stab, stab.
Best crew member ever.
He doesn't.
Please commit murder. Yes. Stab, stab,
He
stab.
doesn't get rid of the bodies like I do, though.
Oh no, you're
Everybody-
very high on
oh.
Ava's list as well.
Hey, that wasn't recorded though.
No, that wasn't because this is me being snarky out of character. Actually, so at least Stefan's side of the conversation was recorded.
That's fine.
Yeah, like you probably didn't get the noise of a Psyblade activating, but
Right.
And that's fine.
The
because
part where
very
I asked,
specifically
"You're
did
aware
not
these are
say
likely
kill
civilians?"
them.
Stefan said, "Yes, kill them." Essentially.
He didn't say kill them. He said it would be best if they were not able to report that there were Protoss there,
Okay.
and left it at that.
Wording politically.
I mean, if he didn't know he was being recorded, he would have just said kill him. But
But he
So
knows it's being
fortunately,
recorded.
you only thought to make the check slightly later, so I got that first part.
yes, but there's nothing illegal about that. But
I mean, technically, there's nothing illegal about anything you're doing. You're a Black Ops team.
this is true.
That's not how Black Ops works.
Deniable ops means we don't admit anything ever happened.
It's how Black Ops work when a psychopath is running the team.
Not how Black Ops works. Black Ops works by, yes, that was illegal. We didn't fund them. We have nothing to do with them. And we don't know why they did it.
basically, yep.
Yeah, that's pretty much everything they can say about us now.
That was
Exactly.
totally illegal, and we didn't condone it.
Yep.
We did, however,
And
continue to pay them afterwards.
And Stefan is perfectly fine with being disavowed at some point. He expects it.
Stone, do we have everything that we can gain from this?
I think so. I think the only thing left to do is, and he pulls out of his satchel a small device and sets it onto the mainframe itself. Keys in a couple of numbers and it begins to beep.
Oswald, return to the ship with Rachel. Quickly
Okay.
would be better.
Does Cornix and Stone need cover on their way out? How many guards are left outside?
There's 12 dead bodies.
Yeah. So I've just been
Jesus.
slowly recording this guy murdering everybody
Yeah,
else.
Fang's been watching too the whole time.
Yes!
So technically, on paper, our team's the good team.
On paper, Team Whiskey killed all those people.
Yeah.
To be fair, Task Force Whiskey was described to you as the one that does the more upfront and louder operations.
To be
Yeah.
fair, our captain was the one who gave
Yeah.
the go-ahead.
Yeah.
Not their
Also
captain.
true.
In this
To be
instance.
fair, I would just like to say that from Fang's perspective, he's probably watching Food Network right now.
Yeah, it's kind of like, how do you prepare raw sushi right now?
Yeah.
You,
Right.
you lighten, you slice
Oh,
it
and
with
I
blade.
got a
Lightning it.
21 when I medical checked the dog.
Oh, the dog is... the dog was malnourished, but was otherwise fine. It didn't have any parasites or any
Okay.
diseases. It was just not getting food.
It has been getting a it has been getting a large amount of food recently.
Taste of human.
Okay.
It has tasted human
Uh,
flesh.
I'll round up my guns and let Rachel know that we're on our way back to the ship.
And Coronix is making for, I assume, a stealthy exit.
Yep, roll stealth.
Ouch.
Well, I'll wait until Cornix and them get out.
Because you have a cloaked individual covering for you, you have advantage.
Oh, okay. Even better.
I guess I'll have to make a perception check to see if I ever notice them coming out. I will.
37.
Will.
Just barely.
No, by about
Oh,
10.
That's right.
By about
37.
11.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. 37. Yep.
So yeah, the two of them make their way out, and a short while later, there's a small from the inside. It's not big enough to actually show on the outside of the building, but you imagine the mainframe isn't a problem anymore.
That's a heap of slag.
All right, yeah, we make it back to the ship.
All right, the group of you head back to the ship. Stone steps into the communications room, decloaks, so he just basically appears.
The minute there was no longer something entertaining to watch, I went back to clawing the floor.
Okay. After the two of them left, Zax didn't even walk off in a direction. He just cloaked and disappeared.
Right.
So yeah, like the minute it was no longer interesting.
I like how Fang thinks that's going to bother Stefan at some point.
No, he doesn't think it's going to bother anybody at all. It's what he does when he's bored.
He actually
sharpened
did,
my claws.
Zax did actually take the time to pile the bodies of the guards back into the facility.
Of course.
So there's not just a murder scene outside of a clinic.
Yeah. It's like, here, have your terrorist soldiers.
You know, Fang's not doing that to bother anybody. He's just doing it because he doesn't have anything else to do. So
It's like Dishonored, when you want to put all of the corpses in a pile.
Or Assassin's Creed.
Or Splinter Cell.
Yeah.
or any other stealth game.
Yep. Stack up the bodies like cordwood.
You don't put them in a pile. You just throw them in hay bales.
In Hitman, you can hide inside the pile of corpses.
Because
Once you've killed enough people,
fucking Hitman.
once you've killed enough people, they become cover.
Hide behind the pile of bards.
Hide behind the mound of dead bards. The gamers. All right. So the group of you make your way back to back to the ship. Stone decloaks into the middle of the communications room and holds out a data disk to Ava.
Ava will take it. Thank you. It's appreciated.
All right.
Sufficient medical data, I hope, Ava, sweet.
We'll see. I am optimistic.
I also just like the fact that
Excellent.
all this conversation is going on to the background music of...
Which Ava just doesn't seem to be responding to.
I know.
No
That's
one apparently
awful.
does.
Rachel Harmon, I inquired about Theodore Rollins. They were not forthcoming, but it may be on the data we retrieved.
I would not be at
Well,
all surprised.
I thank you kindly for trying your best. Number 7.
Ava will wander off to the medical room to start looking at that in pseudo-private.
And
Rachel-
he hands another copy of the data to Vera, who puts it into her database.
Rachel leans towards Cornix and's like, is that woman gonna try to mind talk me at some point and talk about my feelings? And she seems like the kind of person that does it, and I'm guessing she's your medic, so I
She
feel
is
like
the
she's
team
at some
medic,
point
yes.
gonna talk about. I wasn't talking to you. Talk about my feelings and whether or not I'm gonna, I don't know.
Would that
Just
be
wanted to-
unwelcome?
Yes, she is.
Well, all right then, I suppose. I'm
Meanwhile-
just trying to make sure I can prepare myself. What is that ungodly noise?
That would be Fang.
You guys heard me yell.
Cody is yelling at Fang.
Yeah.
Y'all need to
Oswald
get
is
that.
yelling at Fang.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Y'all
Oswald
need
is
to
yelling
get
at
that. Y'all need to get that thing a hobby before you ain't got no floor anymore.
It does have a hobby. Unfortunately, it's not a hobby that it can practice where we are right now.
Oh, kite flying.
Yes, kite flying.
Excellent.
So
Skeet shooting.
yes. So let's start going through the data.
All right, and we'll pick up with that information next time.
All right.
All
Sweet.
right.
All right.
We have been Final Show Films. This has been Taskforce Echo. We produce a wide variety of content every day of the week. You can check us out on our website at finalshowfilms.com. You can also check us out on our Patreon page at patreon.com/fsfilms. If you'd like to support us financially, you can do so on our Patreon page. We'd like to thank all of our patrons, especially our $25 supporters, Chris Comfort and Antitonic. You can also support us on our website at finalshowfilms.com. There's a PayPal Donate Now button. You can click right there. If you're watching this on YouTube, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe below. And if you're listening to this on iTunes, please leave us a comment and review, or leave us a review at least. And we'd also like to thank 411mania.com. Jeremy, tell us a little about 411mania.com.
411mania.com. So, are you curious to know what Guardians of the Galaxy is tracking to do in its opening weekend? Do you want to know how the latest Fast and Furious movie went, or find out what's going on in the world of wrestling, television, games, comics, mixed martial arts? That's what we're for. We are a pop culture news site and opinion site for pretty much everything that geeks could be interested in. Check us out.
I would like to know how big Guardians of the Dragon is.
I said Galaxy. Galaxy got wrapped up in Guardians of the Galaxy opening weekend, and it came out Galaxy.
We appreciate the folks over at 411mania.com, so go check them out because we appreciate them. We appreciate you, and we'll see you all next time. Say goodbye, everybody.
Bye. Bye.
Goodbye. As we wait awkwardly while I find the goodbye button.